Story on Daybreak Live. We examine the major issues shaping governance and public life in Nigeria. In recent years, states have received increased revenues from the Federation account following fiscal reforms and removal of fuel subsidy. With more money coming into safe coffers, many Nigerians are now asking an important question: are citizens truly feeling the impact of this increase? Today on The Big Story, we examine this topic from salaries to services, tracking the state revenue impact. And to help us unpack this issue is Afalami, a public affairs analyst who will help us examine how state governments are utilizing their revenues and whether citizens are getting real value from these resources. Samson Balogun is my name. Nigeria operates a federal revenue sharing system where funds generated nationally are distributed among 3 tiers of government through the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee (FAC). And in recent times, allocations to states have risen significantly, especially following the removal of the subsidy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. The policy was designed to free up funds previously spent on petrol subsidy to governments, so governments could invest more in development and social services. Speaking at several public forums, President Tinubu has maintained that states now receive enough funds to meet their obligations, particularly the payment of workers' salaries. The president noted that with the current level of allocations coming from the Federation account, no governor should claim that they need to borrow simply to pay salaries. That statement has triggered broader national conversation. And for years, many state governments blamed insufficient allocations and weak internally generated revenues for salary backlogs, rising debts, and stalled development projects. But with increased allocations now being reported monthly, citizens begin to ask tougher questions. If states are receiving more money, why are some still struggling with basic infrastructure, like roads, water? Why do salary delays still occur in some places? Yes, we know your state pays on the 25, but 25 to 25 is 30. How transparent are the state governments and how are these funds being spent? Beyond the financial numbers, the debate now centers on accountability. Should Nigerians now hold governors more responsible for the quality of governance in their states? Should state assemblies strengthen their oversight responsibilities? And what role should media and civil society play in ensuring that public funds translate into tangible development? Across the country, the key issue remains whether increased revenues are being transformed into better roads, improved healthcare, quality education, and stronger economic opportunities for citizens. These are some of the questions we'll be examining this morning with Afalami. But before we delve straight into this conversation, let's take a look at 2 different occasions. Yes, he has spoken in several public gatherings and deliberately orchestrated and meetings with some executives where the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has made these bold assertions. And no governor has come out to say, look, what the President said is not true. In fact, some of them are getting bailout funds to sort some of the basic issues, like the 30 billion naira received by Governor Seyi Makinde to cushion the effect of the explosion at Bodija. And none of them are saying anything about these funds. They take the money and keep silent. Let's watch the video. We'll be back.
When we took over, It is very, very daunting and very challenging when we took over. But today, I can say with pride and joy that we are surviving. No governor in this country, in any of your states, is now running around the bank to borrow money to pay salary of their workers. None. We are going to get to the top of the mountain. The sign of recovery is undeniable. Our critics, our enemies, can say whatever they want. Because they don't know any better. Their arithmetic has always been wrong. We understand financial engineering and progressive methodology much better than they do. That's why we are here. Stay the course. Believe in us. Because we believe in you. We trust the future. Today, headed by true federalism, there's no state governor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is borrowing money to pay salary. Today, you can drive on roads that are solid, that may outlive some of us. You can dream big. Today your children are in school. No child should go to bed hungry and not able to study in the university. No child should be excluded from being able to pass and be admitted for higher education. Nigeria is a proud and sovereign nation, but on the resilience of its people, we are proud of every one of you.
All right, that was the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, making that claim over and over again. Afolabi, good to have you in the studio.
Good to be here, my brother Samuel.
You just listened to the President.
Wonderful speech.
And he made some bold claims, which, as of now, I don't know if anyone has a counter-claim out there. You can just forward it to the studio.
Well, we are yet to
take
see
them.
any of those counter-claim anywhere, any corner. The governors are to be blamed. Yeah, the governors are to be blamed. The president has spoken, and it's a clear statement that the suffering of the people could now be traced to the weakness and the negligence of some of our political elites, especially the governors in the states. Formerly, everybody. Well, I want to say that they are riding on the inability to know better of our people. You know, the mindset already been taken in, the tea already been taken in by our people to believe that everything ends at the table of the president, who could have provided this, provided that, you know. And in those days, the people felt that when we want to talk about money, supply, educational system, structure, health facility, it is the responsibility of the president to channel all that from the top down to the local government, which is wrong. The reason for you having a governor is to be the take charge of the state, alongside with the state assembly, alongside with the local government executive chairman and councillors, and then bring down the benefit, the dividend of democracy down to the grassroots.
To the state level.
To the state level, to the grassroots. And that is what we are experiencing now. None of them could claim, nobody has ever, since the coming in of this president, to say they have not been receiving more than enough.
Let's talk about revenue impact. So if we are talking about revenue impact, what should the people be looking out for in their various states?
They should be looking out for good roads, good health facilities, healthcare facilities, good and well-balanced educational system. We still go to some schools and we see they don't have roof, no seats as at present. I talk about digital education. We as students now are going to be sitting for JAMB, on like writing system JAMB online, writing exams without being having to go to the exam hall with pen and paper to shade. But how prepared are they from the grassroots? Go to the interior secondary schools and primary schools. You wonder if these are the people that will be sitting for such kind of exam in the nearest 5, 3, 4 years, in the nearest future, because the government has neglected such kind of roles that they should be playing. So, if you are talking about dividends of these policies that we are talking about, it is the sole responsibility of the governors and the executive members, come the assembly member of the assembly. But here in every state, we've seen that the House of Assembly are just rubber stamp. And that is why you hardly hear a good opposition from the House of Assembly members, either from the Speaker or any member at all, except where they are chairing a kind of party, where the party, 2-party or 3-party, is dominating the House of Assembly. And when that happens, immediately they've been sworn in, you see them merging up together, buying themselves and becoming a member of just one party system. And that is the problem. The allocation formula that has been restructured by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is enough to take care of everybody. We should be having a very good roles. Like the last time I came here, I was talking about we getting the dividends of democracy through good roles. When you are a farmer and you are bringing your harvest from your farm, immediately you are coming out of your farm, you should be able to take everything you have been able to harvest down to the market. But where the roads are bad, then you get more perishable goods, more damage, more losses, and that the end of the day is for you to calculate all that has been lost on the one that will be remaining to the market. So if the price is supposed to be 10 naira, if it is from the harvest from the farm, and you've lost through bad roads, you've lost through power supply, you've lost through bandits invasion, then the remaining ones will not be calculated on them. It means
it will be expensive.
It will be expensive. It means the fruits that should be 100 naira will turn around to be 700 naira. Because where will you put all those, the labor, the losses, where will you put them? And that is where we get to see what we are talking about, the effect, the side effect of not taking charge, of not taking care, of not distributing as when due the blessing that has been coming from the federal allocation.
Now, let's talk about when monies are received. You are talking about how to track the state revenue and its impact in all states across the country. Okay, not long ago, the Oyo State government came out to say there has to be a renovation of the government house to be more befitting. And so around 63.4 billion naira was earmarked and allocated for such purpose. Now, let's now take a look at what that could have done for your state people if channeled in a different direction. And I want you to talk about it once I am done. Cost of basic primary health care center, according to the estimates from the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, NPHCDA, and recent Oyo State Health Care projects, a standard primary health care center costs roughly 20 to 30 million naira to build, including basic equipment, consultation rooms, maternity section, and minor facilities. Okay? And by calculation, 63.4 billion naira divided by 25 million naira, average per PHC, is around 2,536 primary healthcare centers across the states. Now, if you want to talk about health, that is it. And if we want to talk, let's now say, things have tripled. Okay, let's say that will build 1,000 out of 2,500. Let's say that will build 1,500 primary healthcare centers. Now, let's talk about education. Cost of basic primary healthcare, school. Based on UNICEF Nigerian Ministry of Education data, building a functional 6-classroom primary school costs around 50 to 60 million naira, including basic furniture and classrooms. And by calculation, 63.4 billion naira divided by 55 million naira on the average price per school gives you 1,152 primary schools. So if we don't want to build new primary schools, why not renovate some of these ones that we currently have? So it means that we should, give or take, we can do 1,700. Let's not say 700. Things have, of course, things are now more expensive. Let's say 700 primary schools to be renovated or maybe upgraded.
And new ones like 200.
So if we now look at this from that perspective,
and we are putting all these on.
Is it about interest, political will, or the zeal to get things done? Are the governors looking in the wrong direction instead of doing what is meant to be done?
My brother, sincerely, they are looking in the wrong direction instead of looking at what to be done. And that is just it. They don't have the willpower. Many of them will go there before they get to that place. They give you, some people don't have a roadmap. Some will only be telling you, in this our own country.
I've seen a governor who told his executives to find him project to do in the next 100 days.
Yes. When we go for the party convention or party campaign, we hardly hear the manifesto of those governors. They hardly talk.
It's the party chairman that does the
and then the music. You've forgotten the music. The music take over. They'll bring the popular musician to come and sing.
And then the boat here,
and both here, the boat are taking over everything. When we are in school, we used to hear manifestos. When we are in the student union government, people want to contest. You want to hear speeches, manifestos, detailed manifestos, and people are very ready to question you. We are this for, what will happen? We are this fair, what will happen?
The governor said, I will give you insecurity in Nigeria.
Insecurity?
Yes.
And then we are having it. We are having it. And that is the problem. We are easily taken away by, being carried away by these jamborees that take over our campaigns, stable, where we should be asking real questions. And that is because our people are still very illiterate. Not that they are not educated enough, but they are educated illiterates. We have people who would have been bought over. Some people would, because they are the friend or colleagues or relative of the governor to be, they just believe that please don't bother to add anything. Even if he's the governor, he is not the only one that will do it. He's not going to be the commissioner, at the same time become the director or become the agency director or anything. But these people that he will be employing or appointing as commissioners, as directors, are the ones supposed to be bringing out projects that the governor will be looking at. That is wrong. Where you rely on your commissioners, on your appointee to give you projects, then you are already a failure before you get to that office. You should already have your own roadmap for health facilities, for educational system, for road construction, for projects that will benefit the people, that will impact in the life of the people, not for jamborees. I see no reason. After the construction of the new state house or whatever, we stop there. Another governor will come in. I want to state his own building again.
Buy computers on a yearly basis.
And then on every of their proposals, on every
change furniture.
They change furniture. And every year, when you go through their budgets, you see change of
recurrent expenditure. The same thing.
The same thing. And these are the things that will have benefited
the people. They just
change the figures, and you wonder. We just bought into the Ministry of Commerce and Industry some 1,000 computers. What happened for another rebuying of another computers for this year? Do you tell me that those ones bought last year has been damaged or taken away or stolen?
No longer function.
No accountability, nothing. And what the money should have been used for is not. How can somebody be coming from Secretary to Ibadan because the person is sick or they have an emergency? And it is only because there are no health facility over there. They depend on UCH. And before you get to UCH door, you see that the place, the staff are on strike. At the end of the day, by the time you look into the car that you are bringing your sick person, the man is dead. So we record all this regularly. And this is the problem we are facing. Our government our leaders don't look into areas that will benefit the people. Now we're talking about people writing jam with computer system, writing jam. And I tell you point blank that their failure based on their foundation. Many of those students that are passing very well are those who have gone to private schools, whose public schools are already been equipped by the alumni.
So whose fault is all of this?
It is the
president, because most people would love to channel their pains to the president.
We should look into our governors.
So who should hold them responsible?
The people, the media. Because right now, these State Assembly are handicapped. These are guys that want to go home with their money. They want project that they will not do to be assigned to them. They want to take care of themselves and themselves alone. Many of them will not be able to go back home even after this second time that is concluding very soon. Because there is no basic project, no physical project at their constituency. They cannot beat their chest to say they are the facilitator of this healthcare, they are the facilitator of these school buildings, they are the facilitators of this particular project, they are doing this, they are doing that. And that is what we are facing. And at the end of the day, because the people are very they are ignorant, they will mobilize again and bring that musician.
In Oyo State, you saw a member of the Oyo State House of Assembly who built a police station, and there was no truck, there was no vehicle. And then the governor promised him a truck, a vehicle on the floor of the house, and then he prostrated. Thank you, Oga.
Thank you, Oga. That is it. That is exactly what we get. And when you ask him what is the cost of this building, he will be mentioning billions of naira. And that is it. And until we are out of this shell, we may not be able to survive at all. The president means well. He's talking about how we can survive, how we can see the future. He has foreseen the future even before now. But many of these politicians, and that was why they don't last. I tell you, yes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu may have his flaws, but this is a man that has vision. And when you talk about a man with vision, you have seen ahead. He's the only existing person that has been a governor, that has still remained in politics, and has become a president. He has not become a senator. He has seen ahead. And that is why Lagos will not be compared to any state at all. The way and manner it has been structured, the way and manner it has been governed. It is in Lagos you will see a local government chairman building a local houses.
Let's talk about some of these things that some would say you cannot compare Lagos with Oyo, you cannot compare Rivers with Osun. They make these assertions over and over again. But then, let's talk about IGR again. Okay. Because we need to reel out these figures so people can know exactly what is going on.
What their governors are collecting.
What gets into
if not for the crisis, we don't know that somebody collected 50 billion on a particular case, on a particular event.
I did not mention that. Oyo's IGR...
I'm mentioning it. Let us say it loud. Okay. We got 50 billion. Okay. And what we had about is that we only got 30 billion. Okay. And 30 billion naira, if you have to start counting 1 to 1 million, to now continue to 1 billion, not to let alone 30 billion.
It's a lot. Okay. Oyo's IGR rose to about 65.28 billion naira in 2024. Okay. Up from around 52.74 billion naira in 2023. Yeah. Now, a growth of roughly 24% year on year. Since 2019, the state's revenue profile, including IGR growth, has increased by around 145.5%. So what this means is that Oyo is generating a significant amount of revenue on its own.
Yes.
A trend that should, in theory, cushion dependency on federal allocations and support local development. Yes. All right. Let's now talk about revenue dependence and budget performance. According to the Oyo State Budget Performance Report, the government share of FAAC, federal allocation, in 2024 was budgeted at over 201 billion naira and finished at about 282.8 billion naira, showing strong reliance on federal transfers. Sure. All right. Internally, generated revenue made up a smaller part of the state revenue, under 64 billion in 2024, showing that FAAC still accounts for a major portion of Oyo's recurrent revenue. Now, is the Oyo government not looking enough into internally generated revenue, or it was a deliberate attempt to make some people feed fat on the state while some people get kickbacks? I will cite an instance. From my place down here on a daily basis, I know how much union people, okay, they now call them PMS. How much they get from each tricycle. as they go. And
Yes.
they get that in the morning. They get it in the afternoon.
and in the
And they
night.
get in the evening. Okay? That amount of money calculated based on the number of tricycles we have in Oyo State, the number of bikes we have in Oyo State,
And their stations.
and then we
And their
have
stations.
makers we have in Oyo State, and different stations and joints we have across the state. How much do you think that will fetch Oyo State government in 1 month?
That is even a peanut compared to all other areas they get money. That is a peanut. I tell you, go to all the ministry, go to Ministry of Lands, go to Ministry of Commerce and Industry, go to Ministry of Education, how they approve schools, how they go after them to make some payments, you know. Go to Ministry of Health, go and see how approval for pharmacies are done, approval of medical of hospitals are done. Go to all other areas. Is it that? And I ask myself and the so-called supporters of the government that come, if all what we have seen in the expenditure of the state is being taken care of by the federal government, and the money collected from the state is not really showing as expected. Now we have even terminals. We have terminals now. The challenge terminals, yes.
The Woro
terminals, you know.
There's one being built at gate as we speak.
And you look at those terminals and you want to just assume how much is generated in those terminals. And you still want to tell me that the state is not generating enough money? And you want to, this is just Ibadan. When you go to the interiors, you know how much is generated too. And some people just feeding fat on this internal generation money. Or the state government want to divert the attention of the people away from it, and so much call for federal. And you know how people are so damped that when they collect their salary, and that is all. Everything you will hear is paying salary.
25th.
Is paying salary. And the retirees are getting fat now. They are no more being delayed. It is going to be possible. When you look at the federal allocations and you look at the internal revenue generation structure that's already on ground. Yes, for whom more is given, more is expected. So what are we talking about here? We are still expecting that some roads should have been constructed by now. Some areas should have been better way for people to fly.
So before 2023, Oyo State was getting 5 to 7 billion naira in allocation. In the FAC inflow in Oyo State was around 5 to 7 billion naira. Meaning allocations have roughly tripled or more since then.
And people will say we should not compare Lagos to Ibadan, to Oyo. Oyo is getting fat, but people are getting slimmer. They are getting thin. It's not related. It's not. You see, when you look at some roads, yes, some road construction was just done of recent. Some internal roads were done. You know, you look at some roads in some local governments, but some local governments are yet to feel any impact.
So are states using their internally generated revenue well in Nigeria?
They are not. We are just talking about Oyo State. Well, go to other states. Go to Benue State. Go to Kebbi State. Go to Kogi State. You will cry. That state, I don't know. I don't know how they survive. And they have industries. That is where you see the cement industry. And you see the Ajakuta industry
Still
too.
rolling.
You need to walk through that state. There was a time I was traveling, I told myself, even if you're not kidnapped, for you to stop on this road, you will call kidnappers to come and kidnap you. There's nothing on the road. I don't know what the people are depending on. The schools, the tertiary institutions, the private, the secondary school, the government-owned secondary schools that I walk into, that I try to see. I ask myself, is anybody governing this state? Do we have politicians here, or we just have elites who depend on the federal allocation? As soon as it comes down, they share it, because that is it. That is Kogi for you. Go to other states. When you even move to some eastern states, you ask yourself so many questions. Let alone the northern states, where it has been dominated by God knows who, and that is why the recruitment of banditry is in a high taste. Some people even want to join in order to get rich. We've seen clips where that shows us that some women now say they don't sell fura anymore because their husband now bring in money, good money, and we saw how they spray money in their parties. They don't spray like we spray here. You bring it out one after the other. They put it down in bundles. They'll tell you that the money is on ground. But when you want to calculate the amount of the people who are suffering, it's still very high. Their margins are still on the streets. Yes, they may have good roads. Their margins are still on the street. The school is empty. Nobody is going to school. So ask this question: how is this thing balancing? And everybody will still want to drop the blame on the table of the president.
Now let me take you through this. Even though federal allocation has increased drastically in the last 2-3 years, now according to a financial review of state borrowing activity, at least 20 Nigerian states secured new loans even as federal allocations rose significantly. These states include Oyo State, 93.4 billion in domestic loan; Kaduna, 62 billion naira in foreign loan; Lagos, 50 billion naira in foreign loan; Gombe, 20 billion; Zamfara, 28 billion; Katsina, 20 billion; Kebbi, 7.4 billion; Jigawa, 10.98 billion; Bauchi, 26.3 billion; Borno, 18 billion; Taraba, 18. A lot of states, they are still borrowing money even after the allocation has increased drastically. So is it a case of poor fiscal discipline by state governors?
Yes, and is a case of wickedness. It's a simple case of wickedness, because you know that this borrowing that you are making, as at this point, you cannot pay back even when you are in government.
So plunging the state into debt when you are leaving office.
When you are leaving the office is a point case of wickedness. You see, we can, if we look inward very well, with what is coming in from the federal allocation, with the one that we are generating from the internally generated revenue, we can do more. We can even extend our scope. We can extend our tentacles to earn more from our local end, so as to get more. By the time we get from the federal allocation, it balances all. The people are suffering. It's only in some capitals that you see what is going on. Go to the interior. That is why I want to.
The lesser cities. The outskirts.
The outskirts. When you talk about development, it only ends at the capital. Gusau is the only place you will see that is in Zamfara that is meaningfully built. Other local governments, they are villages. And that is why it is easy for banditry, for kidnappers to put a place up and take over the entire area. That is just the truth. What happens if we have the areas like, okay, from Akinyele to Iseyin? Look at that road. Look, when you travel down from Akinyele to Iseyin, local government to Iseyin, you look at the road. You see the way where we could have put up industries, factories.
There is real estate agents there.
What are we doing with real estate agents? What are we doing with real estate that will not come up to life in the next 20 years in that area? Who want to go and live there? But if you have a vision for industries to come on board, like we are building on Lagos Ibadan Express Road, you know, you see that we will generate more. People get employed. There was a time I sat back and I see that. Thank God for some foreign countries who has come to Ibadan to put up a factory here that makes some people to be employed on a 6 hours or 8 hours, 8 hour basic. If that is not there, the rate at which we have crime here will be more than anybody can ever imagine. If you see these guys trooping out from these companies, you ask yourself, are you sure these are the people that has been, they're not just illiterates. Many of them are educated guys, but no money to start whatever they have in mind to do. They end up staying there. Government, these are people that are paid for by these foreign countries, companies that have put up these ideas. It has been, if they are to be under the state allocation or state state salary or bill, I don't think the state will survive. And that is what we need to clamor for. More industry to come in. And then we can be able to put ourselves in a more independent state. We don't, that was, and that is the reason why our local government are intentionally collapsed. Intentionally
so
killed.
Is it a deliberate attempt by the governors to stall development that made them kill some of these local governments?
That is just it. So that they can be able
Most of them are against local government autonomy, meaning funds allocated to local governments.
Yes.
So if you add that to what is currently
we have not had that to it. By the time you add all that from allocation to local government into what the state cover has gotten, then you ask yourself, why?
Some say local government gets less than 10% of what is rightly due to them.
Did they get up to 10%?
Function?
They don't get.
And people blame local government chairmen for not performing.
Who are the local government chairmen? Who elected them? Who put them there? They have been.
There was an election.
Which election? That you and I went out to count.
OSEC conducted an election.
Who is the OSEC? Who is the OSEC? Who appointed the OSEC? Is OSEC an independent body? Is it not a body consulted by made up by the governor? Who is the OSEC? Who does that election? Who are the guys? Where is the primary? See, the truth of the matter is that until we get out of this shell, until we make it plain to ourselves, Nigeria develop or break. It is the development that everybody is interested in, and that 3 tiers of government must stay independently. The local government must stay independently, the state must stay independently, and the federal, as it is, must stay independently. Where we have a competent men and women, people taking care of the local government. The local government even have more responsibility more than the states. They know their people. They know what they need. They know where to stage their health facilities. I was at a particular local government, and they needed a borehole, and the borehole was sited in the house of one of the party local government house. Ha! Jehovah. And I said, why? Why now? When this borehole could have been sited somewhere else,
in a strategic
location that people
feed everyone in the community.
So the man determines when it is on and when it is off, and they also help the man to get a small generator that he will be always come there to put diesel. And I say, so the diesel is taking care of the borehole and also taking care of the man's house. I can see the correlation. And okay. I ask myself, how do you expect development in this area? How?
Okay, if citizens are not seeing the expected results, especially with the increase in IGR and allocation, so we have actually spoken about this. Who should be held responsible? Now that we know that governors should, get a fair share of the blame and of course be held responsible, are there other areas where the people are not looking at that really needs to be talked about?
We need to be educated. We are not educated enough.
Do the people really know what exactly they should be doing per time?
That is where we are not educated enough. We need some volunteer organizations to go out there and educate our people, to tell them that they are the power at which these governors are riding upon, to tell them that they are the determinants of the office at which these governors get a free ticket to run, to tell them that they are the determinants at which the allocation that is coming from the federal allocation account gets down here, to tell them that they are the determinants of what made of that man that decide who get the health facilities, where the schools to be allocated, where if the students will not go to school or not. The people need to be educated such that we will know that our vote must count. Our registration for at the INEC to get our voters card is important. Our mobilization to look out of the box, not to always believing in what they are telling us, that don't worry, because if you join this party, you will get this thing. If you become a member of this party, that we are because at the end of the day, okay, somebody 8 years is almost over now, and he'll be coming back home. He may not even come back home. He may, from that office, leave this state and this country, outside the country, and then go and stay there.
And that will be all.
And that will be all. No EFCC arrest, no ICP arrest, no accountability, nothing. But we'll be the one at the receiving end.
To bear the brunt.
There will be no water in our area. Our road, especially the people of wire and cable, has been there over the years. Even the governor was there to campaign.
And he promised to fix the road. And he
promised the road till date. Wherever there is rain like this, you see people falling from their cab for anywhere. And the place is still like that. And that place, population is becoming higher and higher every day. It's a road network. Aside that, come from 110 to Omi, the road is bad. And that place is also under a particular local government, Ido local government. And I tell you, the local government chairman does not even know some areas belongs to him, it's under him.
It's a very big local government.
If it is local, then let us divide it. Let us divide it. Let people be able to give good accountability of their office.
That will be a topic for another day. We'll talk about local governments in Oyo State and what exactly is going on in those places.
Oh God.
Thank you, Afolabi, for joining us on this segment of the show this morning. That's been an enlightening session with you, and we hope to bring you back to talk more about local government in Oyo State and what exactly we are doing to make things different for the betterment of livelihood of people in our communities. Now, as funds continue to flow to states, citizens' expectations are also growing. Expectations for responsible leadership, transparent spending, and visible development. Ultimately, governance is not just about receiving allocations, but about how effectively those resources are converted into services that improve the lives of the people. Many thanks to Afolabi, our guest this morning, for sharing his insights with us on The Big Story. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to interrogate the issues that shape our nation. I'm Sam Sibalogo. I'm wishing you a productive day ahead. But of course, before we go, Trend Watch comes up. We'll be back.